It's crazy knowing that we're 20 films in into the MCU. Funny how time passes, seriously. So Ant-Man and the Wasp is the sequel to Ant-Man, and it is also the 20th film in the Marvel Cinematic Universe that takes place after the events of Captain America Civil War. Not during the events of Infinity War, in case if you guys are confused by the timeline, but it does take place after the events of Captain America Civil War. And essentially after the events of Captain America Civil War, Scott Lang Ant-Man is placed on house arrest after he was caught after the huge battle that happened in Germany. And so while on house arrest, Scott Lang has this dream that has him call Hank Pym, and as a result of that, he goes on a new adventure where there are new adversaries chasing after him. Alright guys, so let's get into Ant-Man and the Wasp. When it came to the original Ant-Man, I was actually one of the few people that didn't think that movie was going to be good whatsoever, especially after knowing that Edgar Wright, one of my favorite directors, who was originally supposed to direct it, left the project, and especially when I heard that Payne Reed, the director of Bring It On, was directing. So as you can imagine, I wasn't too looking forward to it, but come to my surprise, I think that Ant-Man is one of the better MCU films out there. It was such a huge surprise, and knowing that they were making a sequel, I was hyped as heck for this movie. But yeah, lo and behold, Ant-Man and the Wasp, just like the previous one, is a lot of fun. Can I just start off talking about how awesome Paul Rudd is in this movie? The dude just has a great screen presence that whenever he is on board with the project, he always makes me smile coming out of a film, and not just that, he has great comedic timing. But really my favorite part of Ant-Man and the Wasp was the relationship between Scott Lang and his daughter. This was such a heartfelt part of the plot that I wish there was even more of it. And like Paul Rudd, Evangeline Lilly also is awesome in this movie, and she is so good that I feel like that if Paul Rudd was in this movie, I feel like that Evangeline Lilly could have carried this movie so effortlessly, that she was so good. But she is that good that she only benefits the whole thing going on between her and Scott Lang's character. Not to mention the two of them, they're bona fide ass kickers. Another thing that I thought was a huge improvement over the first Ant-Man were the film's action sequences. Now, of course, since the first Ant-Man was kind of fast-tracked and they had to kind of hurry production, this one they did have a lot more time. And the car chase that happens in this film in the streets of San Francisco, San Diego, I always get the two cities confused. But the car chase that does happen in this film was honestly my favorite sequence in the entire film. So much fun and very funny as well. Not to mention, I feel like that everything happens when Ant-Man and the Wasp goes small. I feel like even those scenes were improved more. Now, one thing I never find myself praising, and I can't believe I'm saying this, but the 3D in this movie was actually really, really good. And even though it is post-converted 3D, I thought that the 3D actually added another level of immersion, especially when they're in those actually Ant-Man size scenes. For the most part as well, the humor worked really well. There is one particular scene in which you see Scott Lang, Paul Rudd. I don't want to give it away, but he's essentially emulating someone, and how he does it had me cracking up so much, and honestly everyone in the theater was cracking up a lot. Also, stay for the credits, in particular the mid-credit scene. Everyone in the theater went like I cannot deny though that I felt like that Ant-Man and the Wasp was a step down from the first Ant-Man, and not just that, but from the amazing other MCU films that we got earlier this year. And my biggest issue with Ant-Man and the Wasp was that I feel like there was just a bit too much going on, not just with the plot part of it, but the villains especially. Now, of course, everyone is saying that the MCU's biggest weakness is the villains, and I cannot deny that the MCU, as good as it is, hasn't always had the best villains, even though that this year we had Killmonger and Thanos, probably the best villains that we have right now in the MCU. And even in the first Ant-Man, Yellow Jacket wasn't the greatest villain, but I have to admit, even Yellow Jacket was better than all the villains in this film. There is more than one villain. In fact, there are 3 villains in this film. 3 villains, yeah. You have one villain that's Ghost, who I feel like could have been a really good villain. However, the motivation there has been done many times before. Even though the actress who played her was actually in Ready Player One, I thought she was way better in this, though again, motivations could have been a lot better. Then you have Randall Park, who was an FBI agent that is keeping an eye on Scott Lang while he's on house arrest. His humor, which I'll get to in a little bit, I feel like didn't really work as well as it has in other films. And then you have Walton Goggins, who was just in there as a person, as a black market guy, and out of all the villains, he was probably the weakest villain in this one. So really, instead of improving on the first Ant-Man's villain, they have 2 more villains that aren't much better than the first villain and the first Ant-Man. Now, like I mentioned before, most of the humor worked. There was some humor in this one that just didn't work whatsoever. One joke had me laughing, cracking up, and then the next one after that really killed momentum, I thought. Overall, guys, while I do think that Ant-Man and the Wasp is a step down from the first Ant-Man and from the previous MCU films that we've gotten this year, it does not take away from the fact that I do feel like that Ant-Man and the Wasp is nonetheless a great and very funny time at the movies this summer. So all in all, guys, I'm going to give Ant-Man and the Wasp a 4 out of 5 stars. I do highly recommend you guys check this movie out, especially if you're fans of the first one. And even though I do not advocate 3D whatsoever, I do recommend you guys see this movie in 3D. It's going to be a heck of a ride. Alright guys, so comment down and let me know below. Out of all 3 MCU films that have come out this year, which one is your favorite? If you guys want to know mine, it's Black Panther. But yes, let me know your guys' picks below. If you guys want to follow me on social media, I'm on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Twitch, Snapchat, and I'm also on Stardust. So if you guys want to follow me on all those social media platforms, all the links and the usernames are in the description below. I hope you guys enjoyed my review of Ant-Man and the Wasp. If so, please hit that like button, share, and subscribe to see more reviews just like this one. If you guys want to see my review of Sicario Day of the Soldado, please click right here. Or if you guys want to see my review of Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom, please click right here. And of course, until the next review, I will see you guys next time.